Matt Watts, London, England, the men's head soccer coach at Delta State.
London calling to the faraway towns. Now war is declared and battle come down.
And the athletic director, Jeremy McLean, had told me that I was the man for the job. I was over the moon. I was with a couple of my mates, and I just remember going outside. It was halfway between one of my summer classes and just, yelling at the top of my lungs, because I was excited. And I felt proud, and I felt a lot of emotions, but just that the hard work had sort of paid off, and that I was going to get to do what I love to do, and that's coach soccer at college level.
You went from being one of us, a student, to now you're a men's soccer coach at a pretty prestigious four-year institution. Just that part of it, how did it make you feel, running the emotions from student to soccer coach that quick?
Like I say, I haven't really had time for my feet to really touch the floor. I've had class straight away and came in here, and I've had 2 weeks to sort of get this program, started. It's a big transition. It's going to be real hard. I know that, but like I say, I've been working so hard to get where I am now that I know what it takes to be a head coach at a soccer program, and not just a soccer program that's going to hopefully compete at the highest level in one of the top conferences in the nation.
If you had to talk about right now what you think the state of your program, what would you tell me? The state of your soccer program right now?
I think it's exciting, especially for myself, and I think the players should be excited as well too. It's a time where we can try and move forward a little bit and push the program forward and really elevate it to the next level. It's a time where we can, really concentrate on what's important for Delta State and raise the program up to programs like the baseball program and to the football program, where they compete at a national level. And that for me is very exciting, and that for the players should be very exciting, and that for the local community should be very exciting.
What's your goal this year?
I think just to compete and just to see where we are. I want the boys to enjoy it. I want the boys to enjoy their experience, the seniors, and my goal will always be to win. My goal is always going to be to be the best that we can be. So for me, it's hopefully going to be to get to that conference tournament. That's the biggest goal for us, to make sure that we secure a spot in the Gulf South Conference tournament. That would be a great achievement for us, great achievement for the university, and great achievement for the men's soccer program.
Some of your veterans, your juniors and seniors, have obviously been through a lot here. They haven't made a conference tournament. They've been somewhat competitive over the years and won some games here and there, but have never gotten across that. Is that what you're going to tell your guys, from your leaders from day one? This is what we need to do. We need to make the conference tournament this year.
Yeah, I think that's a goal. I think it is a goal, and it has to be set. I think a goal for us would be to try and win the conference tournament. That is a realistic goal that we need to achieve. I think getting to the conference tournament is a necessity. We need to do that, and the players need to know that. And it's a fresh start for them, so they can come in and they can relax a little bit, and they're going to be evaluated, and they're going to just try and push as hard as they can to get those results in the conference and to reach that conference tournament in Pensacola.
You mentioned a fresh start. That leads to my next question. This is a new game here at Delta State now. Soccer, as far as you go, because you're taking over for someone who has been here and birthed the program. So this is a new game for the entire soccer program. Do you feel pretty good about that, just a complete fresh start for yourself?
Yeah, and Coach Allen is, for anyone to run two programs and to get it where it is today, it's a fantastic job. I don't know if I could do it. So for that fact that we're moving forward as a university now, where we have two coaches that I think are very, very well equipped for what needs to happen at this program now, it is a fresh start, and it shows that the university wants to move forward in the soccer program. And that's honestly one of the big reasons why I decided to take this job, was because I saw the program was trying to move forward. I saw they're trying to move into the next generation and trying to compete at the national level with the other schools, and not only the GSC, but all across America. All across America.
If someone fresh off the street, a student, walked up to you and said, "Coach, what's your plan for this soccer team?" What would you say?
I think just to move it forward. Like I say, I want to win. I want to win with class. I want the boys to be professional, and I want the boys to move on to be something else after they play at Delta State. Not everyone is going to be able to play professionally at after they graduate from Delta State. They're going to be professional in something else. So I think that's my main aim, is just to bring people through the program that are going to be very good in society, are going to represent the school well after they've finished up playing here.
I've known you just right around a week maybe, and right now I can already tell your passion for the game and for coaching. Where does that come from?
I mean, I think it's just bred into me. I'll be honest, like when I was young, that's all I did was play. And if I wasn't playing, I was watching. And just under some of the coaches that I've been under, it's something that I really respect people for. And I want to be that guy that takes teams to the next level. I want to be that guy that's with the team, proud of their team to be winning titles, winning championships.
You kind of led me a little forward a bit, but I'll go there with you. You talked about the coaches you played under and coached under. You've got some big names there. Billy Elliott's one of them from West Florida, and also one of your former coaches is now New England Revolution. And so, what have those guys taught you? And they've had the kindest words to say about you, and I know that means a lot to you. So tell me what you've learned from them about coaching and playing, and also what those remarks they made about you.
I think it's as a coach, as a young coach, you definitely take certain aspects of other coaches, and you take that and you use it to your advantage. Sometimes you see something that you might not think is a great idea from a coach, so you might not use that. Sometimes, and most of the time with these guys, Remy Roy and Peter Fuller and Bill Elliott that I've played under and coached with, that you take most of their things that they do that are successful and you incorporate that into your program. And the fact that I've had calls from all of them and wishing me all the best, and that I'll do a good job and everything like that has been just a breath of fresh air and real confidence booster. And like I say, hopefully I can live up to their expectations. I can prove how good the Mobile coaches are, and prove how good the West Florida coaches are that have got me into this position where I am now.
Right. Okay. Now I want to take you back to something that will probably make you smile a little bit. Your playing days. You've been at the highest levels, and I first want to talk about your collegiate playing when you were an All-American. What did you do then that helped lead you to now? When you play collegiately?
I wasn't. My junior year as a player, I definitely needed work on my leadership, and both Peter Fuller and Remy Roy took me in their office after the year, and they said, that's something you need to work on, because I just don't know if you're going to be there at that level. So I really had to look at myself in the mirror and decide, okay, what do I need to do to make myself a better leader?
Was that conversation that you had with those coaches pretty humbling? I mean, you went from playing in the biggest league in the world, perhaps, in the EPL, and then you went and played in an NAIA school down south, and the coach talked to you about leadership. Was that pretty humbling to you? It
was, and you got to take it as it is. And those guys are way more experienced than what I am. So when they talk to you about that stuff, you got to listen. So I just took it on board. At first it took me back a little bit, but I just took it on board and tried to, put it into my game as a positive rather.
Your guys look up to pro football players, and so obviously you've been there before. So are you going to use that to your
That's a tough question. I don't want to bring it in too much because I think that it's different over here. It's just different circumstances, I think. I will use my experience certainly from my professional level, and try and make this program, the soccer program, as professional as possible. In terms of myself as a player, I don't think there'll be too much of that. They know already that I've played at this level, at a high level back in England, and so I think they already realise that stuff. It's just the fact that things might be a little bit different in comparison to what they're used to in the American society, that hopefully I can bring in and we work together to just improve as a team.
I'm going to stick a bit with your playing days. How did being released affect you mentally and everything else? How did that affect the way you looked at life in the game?
Just that it can be a quick career. It was upsetting, obviously. I remember the day that I got brought in, and the gaffer, the head coach, told me that he wasn't going to need my services anymore. And I remember going back into the room with all my other players that were in my team at that time, who had been told that they were being kept. And it's hard to hold back those emotions. So it's a tough career. It certainly can be a short career, but you've got to make the most of it. You've got to. If you see an opportunity, you've got to pounce on it. If you see an experience, you've got to pounce on it. So, although it might be a short one, it's certainly one of the greatest careers, in the world, I think. Playing professional sport is one of the best careers in the world. So I was very lucky. I felt very fortunate to even played alongside those players, and to have been at a team where we went from, the championship and got promoted. I mean, it was just an unbelievable feeling.
And now I want to get to something a little bit happier to you. You talked about playing professionally, and now your brother playing professionally. He's played at Fulham, which is another big club, and now a bit down in the ranks due to an injury. But that's another thing. How does his life? How does that help you looking at your coaching? Can you talk?
Well, I've got to admire my brother. I'm not going to lie. Like, in terms of his, he's had pretty much everything bad happen to him. He's had a broken leg. He's had hamstring injuries. He's had, torn tendons in his foot. But everything that has ever happened to him, he's always come back, and he's always, back playing professionally. Like, he's always there or thereabouts. And he did that for 7 years at Fulham. And, the passion of wanting to play just has brought him down to playing at Lincoln right now. But I've got no doubt in my mind that through his dedication and hard work, I don't think there's anyone in the league that has the same dedication as him. And I really mean that. He's a very dedicated player. He loves the game just as much as I do. But he takes his job, which is playing soccer, very, very seriously. And he does nothing to jeopardise that. He takes care of his body. And he's really someone that I look up to, even as an older brother. I look up to him and think, man, he's really someone that I would like to emulate in terms of his hard work and dedication. And that's really where I draw from my hard work, is what he's done to be at the level that he's at now. That's everyone's dream, is to play professional soccer. Didn't happen for me, but it's happened for him, and I think it's great. Fantastic that I even know someone that's playing at that level.
So hard work runs in the Watts family.
Let's hope so. I think so. Like I say, I've worked hard to get where I am now, and he's worked extremely hard to get where he is now.
So when can you think back that you wanted to be a coach? When was the first time in your memory you thought, man, I would like to coach?
Like I say, I've been under some very, very good coaches. Adrian Boothroyd at Norwich was, the way he thought about the game was completely something that I've never experienced before. The mental aspect was really a big thing for me, and I admired him as a person. I admired him as a coach and a manager, and as a friend as well. He helped me through a lot of tough times when I'd moved away from home at 16, and lived in Norwich on my own and stuff like that. He was someone that I could really relate to and talk to. So I would say back then was when I thought, man, it'd be awesome to be in his position and do what he does. Of course, I still had the dream of playing back then as well, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking, man, he's really got it. He's got it correct. He knows what he's doing.
One thing that we take a lot of pride in Mississippi is treating everybody like family. Have you gathered that just in the short time that you've been here, how people want to take you in?
Yeah, everyone says, the southern hospitality, and that's really something that I can relate to, because being away from home is always tough, and I'm still only 25, so sometimes you need that person to talk to, and that motherly and fatherly figure. So that's something that all around here in Mississippi that I know I'm gonna be able to talk to people about things, and if I've got some problems, and I can talk to them about that, and it's been fantastic so far. Everyone's been very, very nice and introduced me to their programs and let me know what they do well, and it's been great so far. I've really enjoyed the experience.
Well, I want you to make an appeal to anyone who might be watching this that doesn't understand soccer or doesn't want to watch soccer to come out and watch the Statesman this year.
I think we're going to play some great football, hopefully, some great soccer, and it's going to be exciting. We can just try and do our best in terms of setting the bar high, and hopefully we're going to have a successful season and really start competing at the Gulf South Conference level. Competing with the West Floridas, competing with the Christian Brothers is something that I strive for. So if you want to come out, watch some good soccer being played at the highest level in collegiate soccer, then come to Delta State Field.
It could be a nuclear error, but I have no fear, 'cause London is drowning out.